Hello. I don't know if y'all can hear me. I've been having some technical difficulties with Zoom and YouTube for a moment. I wasn't even able to like set up a live stream. I was like, what is going on? I had to send up a whole feedback to YouTube, like, why? What is going on? What's happening? Hey, Jalen, how you doing? Can you hear me good? Give me a thumbs up, yay, nay. Let me know. Let me know if you can hear it. But welcome, everyone. Welcome. I hope you are enjoying your Saturday. It's very rare that I get weekends off, so I'm so excited to actually have a weekend off to spend with you. And I hope you are doing well. And I hope you've been doing well with this heat wave that we had, right? For the whole week. It's been insane the amount of heat that we've been having up here in New York. It even reached 100 degrees. So I hope y'all are drinking y'all water. I hope y'all are staying in the shade. I hope y'all are definitely using your sunblock, even for my people of color. Please use your sunscreen and your sunblock, okay? So you can stay nice and young, and help out your melanin. Don't dry out your melanin, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, just enjoying what is about to be the end of the school year for whoever have children and the summertime, right? Summertime fun and all that stuff like that. So I do have a exciting review today. Um, I reached out to this channel. This channel is called Evolve HQ. Hey Josh, thank you for coming. I appreciate it. Thank you. So I reached out to this channel and it's called Evolve HQ. They had a interview that was going on. Oh, hold on for 1 second. Oh, see, Jay, all your allergies been kicking your butt. Oh yeah. Luckily, I don't have allergies, but I'm going to tell you that the heat been kicking my butt, and this is like the first summer with me actually having fully mature locks on my head. And I'm gonna tell you, girl, it's a different type of feeling. Okay? Like you sweat. You gotta, you sweat. This hair gotta go up sometimes, like it's like it feels heavy, especially the longer that it grows and thicker that it grows. So oh, hey, hi, Hassan. How you doing? How you doing? Have a good Saturday. Happy Saturday to you. Happy Saturday to you. So anyway, so what I was trying to tell you before is that I reached out to this channel called Evolve HQ. They did an interview. Thank you, Jalen. I appreciate it. They did an interview about this Korean man. His name is Vado. However, this Korean man was born and pretty much raised in Togo. That is a African country, Togo. So he is a Togolese Korean, fully blood Korean. So he's not mixed. He's not a mixture. He's fully blood Korean, but he was born and pretty much raised in Togo, the country of Togo. And he was going to express his experiences of being of part of two cultures, um, being a polyglot, so he speaks more than one language. His primary language is whatever they speak in Togo. And then second would be Korean, English, and he named a few others, but that's how the list goes of him being a polyglot, right? And if you don't know what a polyglot is, that's just someone who speaks multiple languages. But the reason why I wanted to actually go over this interview is because it was very interesting to hear his experiences with dealing with two different countries, two different cultural backgrounds. And what is so cool about it is that he is like, when you hear him speak, because I'm going to show you that we're going to go over the interview. When you hear him speak, he really does just sound like a African man, like what we would consider a African man. He has a very strong African accent, even when he speaks English. He sounds like a regular African man, and when he talks about his experiences, he has such a love for Africa because that is what he knows, you know. And it's not like he doesn't know Korea too, because he did move back to Korea to go work, to go to school and things that I saw. So he does know his language and his culture there. But he shows the differences. He talks about even some form of stereotypes. And he talks about the things that he do love about Africa, the things that he do love about the country that he was raised in, Togo. He speaks about the people there. And then he also speaks about his actual nationality, which will be Korean, and their culture and their mindset on some things. And I just thought that it was really, really cool to hear his experiences as a pretty much being born in, in Africa, and back and forth being raised between Togo and Korea, his experiences, even some racial experiences. So I just thought that we should just review it because my question that I want to peg to everybody is, hey Gore, how you doing? Thank you for coming. My question that I want to peg to everybody is, what do we really, or who are we really, or what are we really beholden to? Are we really more beholden to our race just because that is our race and that has been the racial construct that we have been put in? That's the box that we have been put in, that you look this way, you look that way, you have to be this way? Or are we more beholden to our nationality and the culture that we're brought up in? Because me personally, I think that we are more truly at heart, we are more conditioned to be in love and appreciated of our culture and our nationality more so than when it comes down to our actual race, right? Because especially in the time that we're living in today, we are having so many mixed race, biracial, multiracial, multicultural families and individuals that at this point, even now, we're all pretty much multiracial and multicultural, even though we might have more dominant features in one particular race group. We are all literally technically multicultural and multiracial. So for him to, to embrace it, and he's able to embrace both of these cultures and see it in a way, see the greatness in both of them, appreciate both of them for where they are, and also see the trajectory that he would love to see both of these cultures do because he has a love and a fondness for both cultures. I think it's a beautiful thing for the thing. And I think that maybe that's something that we can think about. That's something that we as other people from even other countries and other nationalities, not if whether you're from Canada, whether you're from America, wherever you're from, we can also look at it too. Like, hey, are we really more concerned about just only the proudness of our race, or are we more concerned about the proudness and the fondness that we have for the culture and the nationality that we are closest to or that we were brought up to, right? Because we also have to take into consider that when we move, and there's a lot of people who move and travel and they have to move, whether it's for work, their family moved over there, it's for school, whatever it might be, eventually you're going to adapt to the country and the culture of that particular country, county, township, whatever you're at, you're going to adapt there because that's what we do, right? So I wanted to ask the question, what do you believe? Do you believe that you're more beholden to necessarily your race, or are you more beholden to the culture and the nationality that you feel more comfortable with? So while you're thinking about that, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pull up the video. And I just want to say shout out to Evolve HQ. Thank you so much for reaching back and responding to me early in the morning and saying that you gave me permission to use your to review your live stream. And I just really, really do appreciate that. Absolutely. Okay, so let me see. Guys, I'm telling you, it's so hot. Like, oh my God. It's even like hot in my house. It's crazy. So crazy. But then again, I also cook too, so that's why. That's another reason why it's hot. When you cook, it get hot. Okay. All right, so let me make sure I share the sound. Okay, so I hope you guys can see my screen. I hope everything's good. All right, so let's get into it. So this is, like I said, this is Vado, and he is a Tongolese African, and he is going to talk a little bit about his experience when he went back to Korea, his experience while he was in Togo, and some other deeper topics, but you'll definitely get an understanding. And we'll stop in between. We're not going to play it all out. We'll stop in between. And I think with this channel, I don't have premium, so you will probably get some commercials because my other channel is premium. I don't have premium on this one. But anyway, let me pull it. Great. And here we go.
If I was mixed race, Korea is a very welcoming place. It's just that some people stupid.
Even in Korea, some of the Africans I met, they would say to me, I'm from America, because they are aware of the prejudice towards Africa.
Tu sais, moi j'aime trop parler. 안녕하세요. That's not Muslims, mama. I don't want to be that person that you want me to be. I mean, that was so racist, man. He was like, no Wakandas. When I came to Korea, I had really darker skin because I was under the African sun for so long. And then people were asking me if I was mixed race. I had very long hair. So when everyone that knew, like, we would meet and then I'll tell them I grew up in Africa, they would call me Mufasa. Because I had like very long hair, you know.
Mufasa, like the Lion King.
Yeah, the Lion King, the Simba's father, you know. I only went to university in Korea. One thing I really remember that really made me so angry at that time. So we had a class in Korea, like in the first year, that was about careers and future. One day the professor asked us to all stand up one by one and just say what your dream is. And I was so angry that these people's dreams were so like little. I was just thinking, what are they teaching them in school? Do they not allow these people to have bigger dreams? You know,
So what kind of dreams were
like they would just wake up. I want to be a producer of this show. I want to work for Samsung. I want to work for LG. I'm like, I want to work hard to go to a good company for a good pension. I'm like, I was just there sitting like, yo, if you want, you can just say, man, yo, you can be the president. I don't know, be something else. If you go to Africa and ask somebody, yo, what's your dream? He's not gonna be like, hey, I want to go and work for Samsung, or I want to be like an employee at Apple or whatever. These people have bigger dreams. And the only thing that is that they don't have the opportunity. But, you know, if they had it, they would become bigger than anyone.
So I'm gonna stop it here because when I was reviewing this on my own, like I thought that was a very interesting statement or thing to understand. Like for me, I would have had never imagined that with Korea, how they have moved out when it comes down to K-pop, right? They have branched out when it came to K-pop. They have K-pop movies and things of that sort, like a lot of K-dramas and stuff like that. I was very surprised for him to say that a lot of people still have this type of mentality where they want to just play it safe and stable, right? I was really blown away about it because of all these other things that's happening. I mean, at one point, what is it named? B2K? B2K was like literally winning every award possible for an average of what, 2 to 3 years ago, right? Any form of anime or magma, stuff like that has been highly popular amongst our youth, especially in the Western countries and in many other countries. So I was really surprised for him to say that there is still a large population in Korea who just wants to just have they want to have a safe and steady don't rock the boat so much type of lifestyle, right? Like they're not really like dreaming to be innovators and you know, instead of creating instead of working for Samsung, I want to create the next new Samsung, you know, or the next new Nokia company or whatever. Not like it was surprising, right? Because I never seen me personally, I never thought that they had any restrictions for them. And maybe they probably don't. Maybe their restrictions can be something that is a social kind of construct because whether how the economy is doing in certain parts of Korea, whether it's North Korea or South Korea, but I'm guessing that he is from South Korea. He looks very urban within his clothing. So I'm thinking that he's South Korea, like he stay or resides at South Korea. I wouldn't think that they had any stipulations. And if there is stipulation, I think that it's only just something that is like bred within the social dynamics of the Korean community. Like play it safe, play it cool. I think that that's what he's trying to talk about. And what he's explaining is that you know, even in Togo or even in other parts of Africa, of other countries in Africa, if you were to speak to somebody, they're dreaming of the world. They're dreaming of having the world as their oyster. They're even being innovative. They're thinking about, if I can't work at Apple, I'm going to create a new Apple. I don't know what is the national fruit of Togo, but whatever the national fruit of Togo is, these individuals will be like, I want to create the apple of Togo. I don't just want to just be an employee. So I thought that that was pretty cool to let people to let us know about that. I was surprised because like I said, Korea has definitely been making its mark around the world. A lot of their of things that is cultural to them and also cultural appreciation from other culture as in hip hop has been very successful and lucrative for Korea and been putting Korea on the map. At one point, Korea itself wasn't even looked as a tourist site. They have literally dramatically boosted their tourism. Like I don't even know like the real percentage, but I'm really thinking about almost like 250% tourism in Korea has increased by the years, and this is from a time span from between 10 to 15 years. So it was very surprising for me to hear that.
Man, because dream is just a dream, and you know it can be as big as anything. But in Korea, I don't know, man. People were like, it's they're just very closed. Like I was like, yo, is that really a dream?
I feel like sometimes people here, they want to think out of the box, but at the same time, they don't want to because they don't want to be different than the others.
Yeah, I think they want to. They just want to be too realistic. They underestimate themselves. It's not because you were second, third, fourth, fifth in your life that you don't mean anything, you know. And I think that's why there's a lot of like the rate of is very big in this country.
So they blocked it out, and you know, for YouTube purposes, the community guidelines, YouTube purposes, he's talking about is what we would consider unaliving and things of that sort. Like the rates are increasing, people are sad, people are not feeling fulfilled in their life, and it just goes to show that this is a worldwide epidemic. This kind of unfulfilled, nothing matters, I don't matter, I don't want to deal with this anymore, whatever disappointment. This is going around worldwide, this mental health issues of people taking the route of unaliving or whatever. It's happening all around. So a lot of people are hurting, even in countries where you think that they shouldn't be hurting because you feel that the predominant or the majority of that country, if it's considered a wealthy country, You don't think that these people that's in this wealthy country are struggling, but that's because you're thinking at it as a collective, as a country, not necessarily pinpointing the specific communities, the specific population, even by race or religion, that is being affected every single day. Especially, I could speak of that as me being an American and being in a Western country and being in the US. There's so many different sectors and groups, and whether it's racial groups, ethnicity groups, cultural groups, religious groups, sexual orientation groups. It doesn't matter. We have so many diverse groups in America that every group has their own challenges and they have their own benefits. And I think sometimes, unless you're an immigrant that has decided to reside in the Western countries, in like the US, you tend to not really understand that these things also do happen in a country like America, that there is literally people who are feeling the exact same things. And if I was to actually pull up our suicidal rates, you would be pretty surprised. Over here is this month is actually Men's Mental Health Month, right? And I heard very few people talk about it, or very few people, especially from men, very few people talk and express that this is the month of mental health month, that we bring that to awareness, that actual self-deletions and unalivings amongst men has been increasing every year for the past 20, 25 years. And we do want to start prioritizing things like that for these particular groups when we can, and or coming up with ideas of how we can help them, or how we can help facilitate for them to help themselves. So yeah, it's sad. It's definitely sad to hear that this is going around, and so many other things is going around in other countries is very quite similar to what's happening to the Western countries.
Very sad, man, because they don't deserve it. You don't need to be the best, you know. You just need to be good at what you do and just keep doing what you like. And that's success for me. I just want these people to have like, to be more free and just think wider, you know.
I think the word that really hit me there was like realistic, because my father always told me the worst thing you can ever say to a kid is be realistic. Because you're basically, again, capping their dreams and making them limit themselves from a young age, when I think it's easy for me to not be like that, because from the UK is already very diverse. My family, white, Asian, and African, is very diverse. I have people who came from a very poor background to England with nothing. And then one in the same generation, that person's a doctor, and they have that drive. But in Korea, I think it's very difficult because, you know, I love this country so much, but as Clem said, it's monocultural. So it's a lot harder to stand out. Whereas in England, it's so diverse. Even among the white British people, there are a lot of like subcultures, class, and all of this. Whereas in Korea, to be seen as something a bit different can be really difficult for people. Whereas in the UK, you're encouraged to, like, for example, in Korea, if you want to go to a cafe, you want to go to the most popular one where there's a 2-hour queue and everyone waits to go there in their free time. In England, it's like Clem will be like, heck, I just found the most exclusive secret cafe that no one knows about, and they do like the best Italian coffee there. So it's a different mentality of what you aspire to.
You know, I don't want the Koreans to misunderstand what I'm saying. Yo, Koreans are like the hardest working people that I ever seen. One of my friends, like, when he told me, like, why do Koreans live like ants?
Okay, so I wanted to stop it here because he said something that was very profound, right? People are going to have different aspirations depending on how they grow up, their social status, the location that they're at, and also their educational status, and the way how they have been able to garnish resources or maintain resources. People are going to have different aspirations. And it's quite similar here in the US as well, right? We have so many different states, and we have so many people that we have townships, we have cities, we have counties, we have urban cities, we have rural cities, we have rural township, we have mountains. There's so many different little types of communities and stuff that their specific location is going to be quite different than their neighboring state. If you're from a rural town in the Midwest, most likely the things that you're going to do there, or what funds that state is going to be the job that you normally people get, right? Like, for example, if you're from the Midwest and that particular county deals with grains and stuff like that, or they have a sawmill, right? Most people in that county, they all grow up thinking that they only need to go to a certain amount or a certain level of school, pretty much like just graduating out of junior high school. And then after that, they'll go automatically and they'll go work at the sawmill, right? Or whatever factory that belongs to that state or their rural town. And that's the only source of income for that location. So if that is if that's the only thing that everybody know, and that sawmill or that factory has been the bread and butter of a community of generations surviving, most likely their aspiration is going to be completely different than a person who, like myself, who was born and raised in a urban city surrounded by many different type of cultures, many different type of options, many different types of avenues of career and production and whatever I wanted to do. I will have a different understanding or outcome of or aspire to do something than someone who's from a more small town, rural place. Think of the people who are in the Bible Belt country. The things that they would inspire to do would just be get married at a certain age, or get married young, have kids, and go work at the local diner or go work at the local factory, right? So again, it's circumstances, right? Some is like not everybody's going to be inspired to be the next Elon Musk. And maybe they don't, it's not only because they don't want to dream big, but maybe because they've been content and they've been conditioned to not want things as per se. I, who am a city slicker, would want things, right? Like we have the Moorish community here. We have the Amish community. Literally, the Amish community in America, you would think that it's still 1700s, the way how they dress and the way how they do things. They make their own food from scratch. They make their own bread from scratch. They churn their own butter from scratch. And sometimes they come into the city and they'll sell it. But everything they do, their clothing, everything is like original Puritan from when the country was created. You will look at them and how they use it, like they don't even use regular electricity. They don't use the telephones and the cell phones and stuff like that. They don't have the things that we use now that is very new, right? They use very old things, and it's on the basis of their culture, it's on the basis of their religion, why they keep those customs. So when you was to look at a Amish person, you would think that you was back in the 1700s, 1600s. And like, they don't have no real need to be like, I want to be the new Elon Musk or whatever. Not, no, their identity is based on homestead. And they keep up the traditions of homestead, of what America used to be and how America used to make money, how they use the barter system. Those are the things that they uphold. So yes, everybody's situation is different. They're going to have different aspirations for many, many different reasons. But I do understand what he wishes and he hopes for the individuals in Korea that he's speaking about. Because if he feels that a lot of sadness and they're restricted and he wants them to be more open to the possibilities and what the world can bring to you, I can understand his reasoning for sharing that. Well, let's go on.
Why do they only work and work and work and work? It's good to be hardworking, but I just need them to be more relaxed. Life is not only about working, because you make all that paper. I mean, you work that hard, but you cannot beat health. So just live life at least once, you know, do what you want to do, you know, be more relaxed, you know.
Guys, if you're getting any value from this, we would really appreciate if you could subscribe and hit the like button.
For me, growing up, the message from my father was always find what you like. You're going to have to work hard anyways, but, you know, just find what you like, whatever it is, just do it, you know, do what you like. And that's it. You know, there was never, you know, he never mentioned like, you know, you should go to that university, you should do that job. No, it was always like, you have to find, it's not easy, but you have to find what you like and then work and make it happen.
Yo, and then we were talking about, so you talked about parents. So my parents are also Koreans. So in the beginning of my life, you know, I was never good in school. You know, I'm gonna be honest. And everyone who knows me knows, you know, people will be like, yo, bro, you're Korean, man, but why are you so bad at math? But, you know, all these things. And my dad always, my parents would always like they always try to pressure me. But me, I always try to make them understand that, nah.
What's the best oil to cook with?
Number 3, canola.
Like, change me, because I don't want to be that person that you want me to be. I want to live my life. Of course, I don't want to do bad things. I want to live my life the way I want to. I want to be happy, you know. So my mom stopped doing that, but like she always used to. That's a problem with a lot of Koreans. Parents will always compare. Like, let's say like Hakeem and Clement, like. So when you go home, let's say you got bad grades, and he always get good grades. So in Korea, they'll come like, Hakeem, why can you not be like Clemente? Why can you not be like Clemente? So one time when she kept asking me that, like, why can you not be like this guy? Why can you not be like this guy? And then I asked her, then why can you not go and be his mother?
That's very deep.
Yo, that's what I told her. If you're gonna keep comparing me with other kids, yo, just go and be that kid's mother. You know, if you're gonna keep pressuring me like that. So my mom understood, you know. Of course, I was kind of a bad boy, you know. I got tattoos like at a very young age and all that. But I always try to make them understand that, you know, if I do this, I'm gonna be responsible for what I do. If I have tattoos on my hand, I know that I'm not gonna get a job at the office, you know. So I know I'm gonna hustle, and I always try to prove it to them. Mama, look at me, I'm doing this. Look at me, I'm doing this. Love your life. Do what you.
Oh, so I wanted to stop right there because I appreciate him saying that because he was realistic about certain things, and I think that that's admirable, right? Because he knew that if he was to get certain tattoos, certain piercings and stuff like that, that the environment when it comes down to the office environment or so, it would not be acceptable. So he knew that he wasn't naive to the fact that he was going to have to work 10 times hard or probably be his own boss, which means that you're going to have to work 24/7 to literally balance out the other things that you wanted, like a tattoo on your neck, a tattoo on your hand and stuff like that. That's being very realistic. Hold on one second. All right, I'm back. I'm back. Yeah, I had to make sure I get my charger because this computer was about to die. It was about to die, so I didn't want that to happen. All right, so yeah, I wanted to say, like I said, he is being realistic about certain things. And I think that sometimes we have a lot of people who are unrealistic about how things play out, right? We have people who are unrealistic about the mistakes and the decisions that they make in their life, and they expect that they're supposed to have the same outcome as a person who did not make those same type of decisions that they made, right? And at least he's reasonable that he knew that he was going to have to put in extra more effort, and he's not going to have a regular office job because he wants tattoos and he wanted to be a bad boy and stuff like that. So he knew that he was going to have to work harder and not play the whole office, blue collar, white collar position. But then we do have people out here who tend to believe that they can go ahead and be bandits, they can go ahead and be criminals, they go ahead and be degenerates, they can go out ahead and do criminal activities and stuff like that, and then they think that they're going to be a CEO of a Fortune 500 company. It's not going to happen. Like, you have to start being realistic about the certain decisions that you make in your life. If you're going to move down this trajectory, you have to understand the benefits and the consequences of every decision that you make. And you have to be realistic about that. And I think that more people need to do that and be honest. Like, some people are able to get away with doing things like that, having the tattoos and stuff like that, and then still working in the office. Most of the time what they do, they go look for companies who don't have policies about tattoos and stuff like that, right? They'll look for companies that don't mind that. Like, you could wear your hair, like you have a mohawk, or you could wear your hair a certain type of way, or you could wear your street clothes. You don't have to be in a suit and tie. Like, people go out and they research companies that will help suit them better, to make them comfortable if they have to work. But you can't complain if you don't have those options. You have to be realistic that, yes, you don't have those options, or your options are very minuscule, and that eventually whatever you wanted, that was a priority first. So now you have to move in the trajectory that you chose for yourself. Or if you really want to be the CEO of a Fortune 500 company, you need to start making the steps and doing the things that is going to take you to be a CEO for a Fortune 500 company, and not making excuses for about why you can't, or what's going on and who's stopping you.
You want to do.
No matter how hard you try, you can never please everyone as
Yeah,
well. So
you can never please
what's
anyone.
the point of trying?
Yeah.
Of course, man, I'm not perfect. Many people knows me. All my friends around me, they know that I do, like, sometimes I make a lot of mistakes. But I mean, you know, mistakes shouldn't take you down, man. If you fall down, you should be able to get back up and then run it, you know, just run on.
If you could go back in time and meet yourself just before you moved back to Korea,
Damn.
what would you tell yourself?
You know, I think about that a lot. But I would tell myself to also have tried to live a life that studied also a lot. You know, because I was really not into that life, but which made me the person I am today. I did a lot of like fun things when I was young. So now that I'm like 30 and moving on forward, those things stay back. So now I'm not here trying to like have fun, like go to the clubs, and now I'm trying to be more serious with my life, you know? So if I move back, I think I'm gonna try to do the opposite. Maybe work harder, you know? Not like how my parents were pressuring me. Maybe like really think about what you want to do.
What you mentioned about the kind of typical Asian pressure to just study is making me think, because I did go through that route, and it gave me some sort of validation from the Asian and the African side of my family, because they both share that common value for education. But there are other people, they did their own businesses or they're creatives. But then if I'm very critical of the Asian and also West African culture, sometimes is that they were not as celebrated for those things as much. And I think that is some really difficult part of our culture, is that, yeah, you know, for example, you don't really get many South Asian footballers because from young they're told like sport is bad. Just study, be in education. And I think, for example, Son Heung-min now in Korea, he's shown that to young Koreans, that Koreans can be incredible footballers. But a lot of kids still, if they told their parents, like, I want to be a footballer, they're going to say, Go back to your books.
Yeah,
you know,
that's what I'm saying.
it's
Like
tough.
Faker. You know Faker?
Who's Faker?
Faker is like, he's the League of Legends, the League of Legends legend, you know?
Right.
Bro, like, I didn't know about this guy, but one time he was on a TV show, and on that TV show is like two guys, just like a podcast kind of thing with the two guys, a very famous Korean comedian and another comedian, just sit down and they bring in like successful people to talk, like a podcast. And then I just saw this kid, just like a normal Korean university student, and then when they mentioned the money that this boy makes, bro, I was like, what the hell? By playing games. And then these days, he has like a PC bank in Hongdae called T1 Base Camp, bro. That thing is magnificent, bro. I also saw like this Korean person going around universities, like Seoul National University, the best universities ever. So just asking people, all the students that were like really hardworking and really good at what they were doing, they were kids that parents didn't put pressure about working, And what I also learned is that when you put pressure and then when you tell someone not to do something, they will always find a way to do it.
Yeah.
So why don't you just not support it, but try to keep a balance to it, so that this person doesn't go out and do crazier things.
Yeah. I think with pressure, what you don't want to bring in is frustration, Yeah.
It's really tough because pressure.
All right, so I wanted to stop here because what he said is, I have heard and I have seen, because I have friends who are of the Asian community. Shout out to my boo-boo Lee and Lynn. Anyway, yes, I have friends that's from the community, and they have firsthand told me and explained to me the amount of pressure that they do get for when it comes down to education. I also have friends who are African immigrants, and they have also explained to me how much education is very pushed in their community as well. I do believe that sometimes it can be a little intense. I can see that. I've seen that happen, and even have been expressed to me how sometimes they'll get very stressed out, or they feel like they have no social life. They're always in their room, or they're always in the house studying, and then taking tests and studying. And then all of a sudden they wake up and it's like, oh, now you're expected to go ahead and be sociable and get married and get hitched. And I think that's one of the reasons why they also do arranged marriages still within those communities, because of the simple fact that if they're telling their kids that they have to focus on education and getting money, they are not going to be really having the social skills that they need to have. So an arranged marriage would actually work very beneficial to them, because you're already just hooking them up, and eventually they're going to just have to figure it out amongst one household how to love and build with what they got. So, but I do want to express that this education thing is just not only amongst Asian and African migrants. This is also amongst Black Americans. This is amongst white Americans. This is among Hispanic Americans, Indian Americans, British, German, Filipino, Hawaiians, Aboriginals, Australians, everybody around the world. There are people who wants to be educated, people who wants to break barriers of education or be knowledgeable of things or become subject matter of something, who has a passion of learning. They are going to take education seriously, right? They're going to take education seriously. And we can show so many examples all across the world of great people, great inventors, innovators, ceiling breakers, trailblazers. We can show for so many different countries, as also well within the United States, of just cultural or racial background, of people who took education very seriously and a passion for whatever they love or what they were interested in, whether it's math, science, you name it. They took it very seriously. So I know that's a stereotype that it seems good, but then And it is it's not it's a stereotype that is truthful, but then it's also a stereotype that kind of hurts. And I know it's not intentionally, but it's a stereotype that can hurt other different demographics in the world to make it seem that they're not prioritizing education just as much as these said individuals. And that's not true, because all you have to do is go and look and research for yourself, and you will find the brains in any demographic, any culture, anywhere in the world, the intellectuals, the intellects, in any of parts of the world, if you really wanted to.
Pressure, they say pressure makes diamonds.
Yeah.
You can't make the diamonds without pressure, but too much pressure.
Yeah.
It's a very hard balance to get, because you see in the UK sometimes there's a lack of motivation. It's like the almost opposite extreme, where people don't feel motivated at all. And then I feel like in Korea here, sometimes I feel it breaks my heart to see people who are so stressed. And Jack and I do a lot of coaching to Koreans. I've done it for 5 years, mostly online. And every now and again, the student will be a kid. And half of the kids are really happy. You know, I remember asking one kid, like, what do you do in your free time? I like to roll on the floor, and you know, like that's their happiness, you know, with my dad and this. The other half, you get a lot of really very, very serious kids. I asked this 11-year-old girl, there's the questions in the teaching is like, why do people use their phones a lot? She says, we want to escape our lives. 11 years old, you know. She says, I love dystopian literature. At 11 years old.
I mean, this pressure stuff gotta stop, man. This pressure stuff gotta stop. And one time I was cutting hair, and then I got these little kids that always, like, you know, they move around in a bunch, and then they'll just, like, the guys, they'll just come and open at my barbershop, and then just screaming some gibberish, and then just have to have some fun with me. And then one time, these kids just entered the barbershop, and then they were like Tunisians getting a haircut, and I don't know why, but the kid, he looked like he was 10, 11 years old, and then he could speak a little bit of English. He was like, hi, how are you? And then having a very bright conversation. And then he asked the client, where are you from? And the client said, I'm from Tunisia. And the kid was like, oh, where's Tunisia? And then in Korean, he mentioned, isn't that a poor country? So I was like, what the hell? What are they teaching these kids in school?
Yeah.
That he will mention, like, Tunisia, is it a poor country? Yeah.
Or at home, man. Like,
yeah, I mean, you know, I also, like, I'm not gonna say, I mean, you know, like Arabs, like Arabic people, they have very, not like, I'm talking about really like Arabic looking people, like very, a little bit of big beard and all that. Some of them are like the nicest people on earth, you know? And then, like, I mean, most of them, I want to say, most of them. And the Korean people who really don't, like, the people who ask me, are they hyenas and lions? For them, all they hear and what they see on the news is like, what, like, somewhere, you know, something happened, and then they blame it on the Muslims. I want to tell them that, bro, like, that's not Muslims, you know? Those people are not Muslims. Those people are like some crazy kind of other things, you know? Like, and even Muslims, like, are scared of those people, you know? So I want these people to, like, to stop having stereotypes on people, you know? And I want them to be more aware and educated, you know? I think it gotta, like, change a little bit. I mean, in my opinion, just for people to be more open, because, yo, this world is full of nice people, man. It's not because of the minority of the bad people that's gonna make a whole image of the whole thing, you know?
There's a lot of prejudice in people's minds, but I think the best way... The best way is when they meet someone from that place. The media might have told them, like, black equals dangerous, Muslim equals...
Hey, I'm Christy. I run a system setup company, and I'm also...
Even, like, white people are this and that. And then they meet someone. That's why in Korea, even though I'm actually half white, I always like to tell people when we're out with Clem and they say, oh, 어디 사람이에요? I don't say 영국. I like to say Pakistan 사람이에요. And what's the reaction, Clem, when I say that?
Yeah, they're kind of intrigued and, you know.
What? Sometimes they touch my skin and like, because you know, and I'm not in any way angry or anything, because for me it's just like, so they've been told. Why have they been told this? And sometimes they're in shock, you know.
No, I love everyone from anywhere because we are all one human, you know. We all have the same blood, you know. God gave us intelligence, so let's all use it for good stuff, you know. So one time I was like going to a club in Itaewon, and people were going like, "Why is he always in a club?" So I was like going to a club in Itaewon, and I was just waiting in line, and then I'm not gonna mention the club, but I was going to a club there, and then so I was just waiting in line, and I saw like the bouncer was saying no to a bunch of like black people, and then, you know, when I saw them, I knew that they were Africans, like the way they were dressed, the way they looked, you know. So I just wanted to ask, I was just curious, and then I just came, when it was my turn, I asked him, "Hey, big bro, like, why'd you say no to the black people there?" And then he was like, I think it was, well, I mean, that was so racist, man. He was like, "No Wakandas." Hey, and then when he said that, I don't know what, to me, I was like, man, that is so damn offensive. Why the hell would you say that, you know? Asians, like, I was like, we should be more open. People come to this country to feel more safe and to be thinking that we are very welcoming.
So I wanted to stop here. So what he's explaining is a lot of what some people have reported, not only on YouTube, but on many other social media apps. They have reported of discrimination, of racism in some Asian countries, some more than others. I have heard and I have done research that definitely in Itaewon in South Korea, there is a few clubs that are very popular that do not allow foreigners, but specifically they don't allow foreigners of African descent. And when I mean foreigners of African descent, they're not just talking about African immigrants, they're talking about Black Americans as well. So it is unfortunate. A lot of these experiences very unfortunate, and I appreciate that he said something to the guy and it upset him, because it's going to be different for him, because his experience from African people or Black people is probably really different than the bouncer or the individuals who own the club. They probably never even met a Black person or actually even had a conversation with a Black person. The only thing they know is what's being spread in social media about Black people. And this is what happens when you're dealing with countries that are really known for being homogeneous, where they only just really see them and around them. They only usually marry within them, create children within them, do business within them. They can be ignorant about certain things and about individuals. And there is also a social status and respectability about said some Asian communities and countries of their understanding. A lot of Asians countries, from what I know and what I have researched, is a lot of them, you know, when it comes down to their culture, the fairer the skin is, the more wealth you had, because you didn't have to work in the farm, you didn't have to work on the countryside with produce and the farms and stuff like that. And those are normally the Asians that you don't see. A lot of Asians are actually very quite tan, right? Not yellow. They're not the color yellow, even though that's a horrible history behind why they call them yellow people anyway. But they are quite tan. They can get quite brown. And especially even as Pacific Islanders, they do share the Mongolian DNA of rest of Asian people, and they're quite brown, and dark people considered dark melanated Black people themselves. So we don't tend to see these individuals when we speak about the main Asian cultures that we talk about, whether it's Japan, whether it's China. These are the main ones that we always hear: Japan, China, and Korea, right? And they have been perceived as the quote unquote white countries of Asia, right? And then the other, oh, especially the ones around like Russia, like Kazakhstan and those Asians over there, they're like uh the white kind of Caucasus kind of Asian mixture. Anybody else, like if you're from Thailand, if you're from the Philippines, and if you're from other different Asian countries, you tend to be perceived, you know, with your skin being darker, you had to be perceived as being of lower class because you had to work out in the field and stuff like that. So a lot of their reasoning as when it comes down to being color struck or worried or focus on color and stuff like that has to do with a lot of their cultural traditions about who was of wealth and who wasn't of wealth. And then it's also based on the things that they have learned within history, and also media, stuff like that, that perpetuates the racism and the discrimination of people that don't look like you. And if you do run across a foreigner, the only one that is accepting is a person of white skin, or a person who is perceived to be European descendant. So it's sad, but there is other things behind the rudeness. There's other things behind the subtle racism, or even the in their face racism. There's things behind that. And it's also just the blatant racism that you just don't like somebody. But I just wanted to just talk about that, explain that, because it was nice to hear him, you know, feel a certain type of way about it. Some people do know that it's wrong. A lot of Asian people do know it's wrong and they don't agree with it. But because they do deal with scrutiny and they do deal with ostracizing in their own community amongst their own people too, sometimes you don't want to rock the boat too much when you're in those type of communities, because once you don't have your community, what do you have? It's like being a man with no nation. And a lot of people don't like that feeling. So they'll just be the bystander that won't step in per se, even though they know it's wrong.
Why the hell would you say that, you know?
I think it's clear that we all have so much love for Africa on this table, and I noticed as well that even in Korea, sometimes some of the Africans I met, they would say to me, "I'm from America," because they are aware of the prejudice towards Africa, you know. And
Hey, one thing, people, I'm not saying all Koreans are like that, man. Korea is a very welcoming place. It's a very nice and beautiful, fun place to be in, man. It's just that some people, stupid, eh?
I said we love Korea so much. I'm so grateful to be here. Some of the best people I've ever met and have treated me with so much love and respect are from Korea and from Africa. So yeah, I think we're just trying to promote like people coming together from different backgrounds, respecting each other, and don't let the media tell you these people are bad or even these people are good. You know, it's not that simple. You get a lot of good and bad people pretty much everywhere you go. So.
It was very fun, man. You know, I always have fun with you guys.
Man, thank you for your time. Thank you for coming here again.
No worries, man. No worries.
It was
man.
amazing.
Anytime, bro.
Un autre message en coréen et français?
Ah, non. 안녕하세요. 오케이. Hey, 안녕하세요. 저는 엘바토고요. 오늘도 또 다시 한번 그 Evolve HQ의 팟캐스트를 출연해서 너무 또 즐겁고 또 좋은 시간을 보낸 것 같고, et pour tous les gars qui sont en train de regarder Evolve HQ, non, franchement aujourd'hui là, j'ai passé un bon moment. Hein. C'était bon, on a parlé des vrais trucs. Et bon, j'espère qu'ils vont encore m'inviter parce que là, toi-même tu sais, moi j'aime trop parler. Hein. Et bon, je veux que ça continue, hein, les gars. Faites ce que vous faites, bonne continuation. God bless all of us, you know. Let's go.
Comme on dit en créole, merci à vous.
Merci à vous.
Merci à vous.
Merci à vous. Thank you all for watching.
All right.
We'll see you on the next one.
So, all right, thank you. So let me go ahead and stop my screen share. Ooh. All All right, so what do you guys think? I thought that that was a very cool and a cool conversation. I thought that it helped people with a lot of things. Um, let me look at the chat. Let me see what's happening in the chat. All right, so again, thank you, Gore. Thank you, Jen. Thank you, Jalen, Hassan. Thank you all for coming. I appreciate you. I really do. Let's see. I don't know, not for humans, but thank you. Yeah, it was a very interesting conversation, Joshua, because like I said, it's like they wanted to promote, they wanted to promote more broader connections and people getting to know each other um and basically letting it be known, I guess in a way, kind of confirming. They're kind of confirming that there is going to be biases. There's still people that's going to learn, and there's still people that who doesn't want to learn whatsoever. They don't want to learn. They're not trying to learn. But the simple fact is, keep your options open. Keep your mind right. Keep your mind steady. Be optimistic. Go after, I like the things that they wanted to point out, like go after your dreams, don't think small, think big, or think about the things that you're comfortable with, like the things that you love to do. If you have to work hard anyway, might as well work hard doing the thing that you love, right? Because eventually, if you do the thing that you love, is it really work? It's not. I did like the simple fact that they was able to speak in different languages. I like the fact that he brought up things about his past, things about he experienced. I thought it was just a nice, fun, calm, very calm, and then they are trying to be deep, but yeah, I seen that Gord, some of them were trying to be more deep than necessarily, but that needed to be within that conversation. But then you have to also think too that they're in Korea, right? There is a certain things that you can say and that you cannot say about the Korean government, especially while you're still residing and you're shooting in the Korean government, right? There is a form of censorship in these Asian communities, right? In these Asian cultures that do not have the same type of freedom that we have over here in Americas about we can literally say, and don't quote me, F the police, or F, you're not my president, da da da. We can say all these crazy things and still not lose our citizenship, still not lose our benefits as an American citizen. There's a lot of things that we do take for granted that these other countries don't play about their citizens and the people that come and visit, they don't play about. So they have to be very mindful that they didn't paint Korea necessarily in a bad light, but they wanted to be as honest as possible about their set experiences and what they have endured or what they have seen themselves, and that they wanted to make a change. So I do appreciate that they try to be as honest as possible. They try to bring depth within the interview as much as possible. And it was just a good conversation nonetheless. So I'm about to go ahead and get out of here. It wasn't supposed to be that crazy long of a live stream. I do have a preparation that I need to do for tomorrow's live stream. So if you haven't know, I was supposed to have my Coach Ken interview June the 15th. But as you know, Father's Day happened. Juneteenth happened, so we had to reschedule. So tomorrow at 3 p.m., please stop by Conversations with MJ. And we will be kicking it with Coach Ken, and we're going to be talking about relationships. We're going to be talking about marriage, and I'm going to be questioning him on a few of his books that just came out that are bestsellers. So it will be 3 o'clock tomorrow. Me and Coach Ken will be kicking it at Conversations at MJ. So I look forward to seeing you there. And I just want to say, please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know if you want me to still continue to do interviews. And I want to say again, shout out to Evolve HQ. Those are the gentlemen that was doing the podcast. They was the one who allowed me early this morning. They said, sure, no problem. Go ahead and review this if you want to. And I appreciate these gentlemen for being so courteous to me. So for me to review their information, hopefully I can do, I look forward to working with them in the near future, maybe having a conversation about other things about, Western perspective and European perspective. I think that would be kind of fun and cool. And as always, you guys, please enjoy your night. Thank you for showing up and supporting. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday night. Get a drink in, get a wine in, get a little dance in, get a little feeling in your spirit in. Do what you need to do. But I am out of here, guys, and I will talk to you later. I appreciate you all. Remember, tomorrow, 3 p.m. Y'all have a good night, everybody. Take care. And stay warm and hydrated, please, because it's really, really hot. Stay hydrated. Drink as much water as you possibly can. I'm telling you, just do it. Just listen to this old lady right here. This old lady right here. Drink your water. Drink your water. And your face won't get wrinkles. Stay like mine. Have a good day.